and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, a Star Trek podcast.
Ow!
My name is Caitlin, and with me today are...
Jake.
Chris.
Nope, it doesn't work on a vowel. Ames.
Oh, God. And we're here for episode 119,
Whoa!
wherein we do something totally unusual and new and exciting. We're going to talk about 2 episodes of The Next Generation.
What?
I know. First, we're going to discuss Relics. Basically, everybody... So, Scotty shows up, and he somehow managed to keep his pattern inside of the transporter forever and ever, even though, 2 episodes ago, there were 40 seconds!
He's Scotty. He can do whatever he wants.
O'Brien is not Scotty.
The power of mustache. Come on.
Yes, that's true. I must ask you a question.
Oh!
Yeah.
Anyway, is here.
Oh, God.
Doing his best Connery.
But yeah, so Scotty is on board a ship upon which he was a passenger. It's the Jenolan, and the Jenolan accidentally crash landed onto a Dyson sphere, which is like a big Tupperware around a star.
I thought it was a vacuum.
Sort of. Yeah, fine. I don't know. It's like a Hoover?
As opposed to the Dyson
Oh,
Cyclones.
a Dyson fucking A. You're, They also make hair dryers.
The Dyson Ball.
So, anyway, I've already gone longer than I said I would, but basically everyone treats Scotty like shit because he's been out of the loop for 75 years and he's got questions and concerns, and
He's a relic.
And it only takes him about 5 minutes to hate Geordi as much as the rest of us do, so that's nice. And basically, eventually, they have to fucking Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer that shit and be like, Scotty, with your 5,000 years of chief engineering, won't you get us the fuck out of this bullshit? And he's like, oh, you've been a bunch of cunts, but I'll help you this time. And he does, and that's it. Happy day. He does that by jamming the Jenolan into a closing, I don't even know what...
Hatch
Door.
thing.
Yeah.
Until they can...
I'm a spaceship, not a doorstop.
Until they can blow it up, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, that's Relics. It was...
I love Bone as the spaceship. That's amazing.
And then in Schisms...
Bored now.
Yeah, literally, that's it. Just Schisms. Ames just fell asleep. People on board the Enterprise are tired and losing time, and it turns out it's because they've been abducted. The end.
Basically.
Great.
Yep. That's what sucked.
Yeah, it was terrible.
we'll
So,
talk
Relics.
about
I think the best part about Relics, aside from Scotty showing up, which is obviously great, is all the callbacks we get to
There's
the
a ton
original
of
series,
callbacks.
and it's delightful.
It makes me wonder how this episode would be to people who didn't watch the original series.
I think it's pretty well acknowledged. If you're a fan of Star Trek: The Next Generation,
Yeah, but like people too young that they didn't get a chance to watch them or haven't seen the particular episodes that you mentioned.
but again,
like who watches?
But I think it's kind of an in joke at the same time, right? Because it's on one hand it's the old Salt regaling the young men with with tales of his exploits, and then on the other, and that's like the first, and that's something that is an identifiable trope in seamanship. And then there's and then
seamanship into this.
in the old Salt, like the old sailor at the pub. I remember when Davy Jones himself bit me in the ballsack.
Oh.
I was teabagging the sea, and he came up.
Teabag in the Sea, isn't that what they did at the Boston Tea Party?
Yeah.
Hey! Hey-o! I like
Anywho,
it. Thank you.
So that on that level, it just works. So I think that most people that weren't familiar with the episodes he was referencing would get it on that level. But then the in-joke, the extra in-joke for people that were original series fans is, he's referencing actual things that I remember about the show.
Oh yeah, Psy 2000.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what I think is a little weird is one of the stories he tries to tell the guy that's shown him to his room is about the time he was accidentally Space Jack the Ripper and killed a bunch of prostitutes or
I had a bad time that day.
Yeah, he's like, I got into some trouble down regular, and he's
It
like,
turned out it was just a little pig.
Let me in.
Dear.
Seriously, of all the season, whatever that was, episodes to pick.
2?
Well, I mean, there's not all that many episodes that had a lot of Scotty.
That's true.
true.
Yeah, he was often just kind of there helping out.
Almost
Yeah.
getting control of the ship, but not quite.
Yeah.
It was never a good idea when he had control of the ship.
You guys ever get attacked by a giant green hand in space?
Well, yes. Oh,
No, but we've met
blue
that face.
Yeah.
What's his name again?
Nagila.
You guys always remember his name. I have no idea. I never remember.
So, one thing that struck me is obviously he's doing a lot of reminiscing, and it kind of culminates in the scene where he recreates the Enterprise bridge on the holodeck.
No A, no B, no C,
No
bloody D.
And I couldn't help but think like, okay, yeah, he's remembering the old times, but let's not forget. I mean, McCoy is presumably still alive because he was alive
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Farpoint,
3-4 years ago.
so he might be dead by now. But there's no evidence for that. And Spock, we
Spock's
know is
out
still alive.
being a Romulan.
He's on Romulus, but he is still around. We don't know what's happened. I mean, at this point in time, we don't know what's happened to any of the rest of the crew.
Yeah.
But presumably
Dead because most of them are humans.
No, not with McCoy.
Oh, that's, well,
yeah,
well, that's true.
McCoy was the oldest one.
Presumably
and he's still
in
alive.
diapers somewhere.
Diapers.
Thank
you.
I loved that.
There was
Yeah,
actually.
Go ahead.
No, if you're going to talk about diapers, do it now.
No, I wasn't. I was going
Great.
to talk about Scotty.
Great. I'm going to talk about Scotty as well. There was a massive scene between him and Troy that got cut.
Oh, thank God.
No, it sounds like it would have been good. Apparently, I haven't seen it. Apparently, it exists in like deleted scenes on a DVD that I have not seen. But it's all her telling, going to him after his chat with Geordi, and she's just chatting with him and making sure he's settled in. And she asks him, "Do you want to know what happened with any of the other?" All your other crewmates, and he says, "No, I don't think I'm ready to hear that." And just in case some of them died, and he's not ready to hear if anyone died yet, kind of thing. Or even if McCoy's 8,000 years old and patrolling around with Data.
McCoy is still wiping his own ass.
But yeah, they cut this scene, and it would have been like him realizing, "Oh, you're a counselor. I'm not crazy woman. I don't need your counseling. I want to go to the bar and get me some green drink."
I've been told that you got the better counselor in the bar.
Data.
I also just feel like if they had left it in, we would have needed her to fall in love with him, because that's what she does best.
Troy, oh my
Is
gosh.
fall in love with new men on the ship.
But yeah, no, it does explain that, though. You think at some point they're going to actually a lot of your friends are still, around.
Do you think she would have told him that she was an empath? Do you think she'd be like, by the way, I'm an
no,
empath? Because she hasn't got to tell anybody that for a little while.
In fact, there's a reference where Scotty says something falling in love, and I'm thinking, what woman is Scotty thinking of? Uhura, Mira Romaine, that chick from one of the episodes, or is it Maress?
Oh my!
It's Maress.
They are
so weird.
They have finally had their species name mentioned formally in canon.
What is it?
Cation.
That's stupid.
That sounds like
It was in the first episode of the second season of Discovery.
Oh, really?
Someone mentions Cation in an offhanded way.
A vacation?
spoiler alert, Chris. Jeez.
So
You say that, but somebody got really, really angry at a friend of mine because she mentioned that there was a tribble in the first Kelvin timeline film. Someone was like, "That's a spoiler, don't tell me about the tribble." And I was like, are you actually fucking kidding?
Yeah, that's a little.
That's
much.
a little much, that's what I'm saying. So,
But-
you're
Does
kidding,
Kirk get his
but-
shirt ripped? Don't tell me. Yes,
Did they
he does.
fly on the Enterprise? No, I don't want to know. I don't know. I'm going to see it eventually.
So there was a moment in the episode that was sort of like, Jake, could you make that nerd noise for me? Thank you. It was cute.
I'm sure you could make that noise.
I've tried
need to
before and
can that.
failed.
We need to fucking bottle that and
Yeah,
sell
no,
it.
I ended up hacking. It
That's
didn't go
fine.
well.
Same difference.
But so it was cute, but also made me think that because when they re-energize Scotty, it's like a TOS sound effect and
the glitter.
orange glitter.
Yeah, they dug the glitter out from storage.
Oh,
But,
but
like-
were they not using that by the time of the film?
Well, yeah,
and
no.
therefore...
It had become the big blue with the diamonds.
Yeah,
and
but that was
No,
a
they were
fan service.
They
No,
were,
I know. That was straight
even
up.
the staff was fan wanking all over this episode like crazy.
Yeah.
Like to make the bridge on the original Enterprise scene happen.
They had to masturbate in tandem?
They did. Well, no, they only created that the slice of it that you can see. Like nothing else was there.
Okay.
They used archival footage for the full shot. They got a chair that they borrowed from a fan who made it for a con.
Wow.
And they built, like, the various walls by studying, like, the archival footage for days and days on end to make sure
Nice.
that they got the fucking paint color right.
It's always good when nerds nerd.
Yeah,
When they
because in the
nerd
60s
hard.
they used color filters, but now they're not using color filters, so they don't know what fucking color to use.
Oh, really? So they had to use, they had to just judge it.
They had to get their Pantone color maps out.
Yeah.
That was actually another note I made when they're on the bridge. Scotty jettisoned virtual Finney.
Yeah, he
'Cause
stuck
it's-
the
Right on
whiskey
that.
right on the panel, and I'm like, dude.
You just killed some sort of holodeck Finney.
They keep those in the holodeck for that reason.
Yeah, I was gonna say he probably literally was like, put Finney in the Jeffries tubes.
My other moment, Jake's better
Jettison
at
that
it.
motherfucker.
Moment was actually from the same thing where it was like, so please specify which enterprise, and no bloody ABCD. But then it's like, well, I mean, sure, but then shouldn't it be even more needly?
Like,
'Cause there was
the
a Pike
aircraft
version.
Carrier,
Oh, that's true.
There was the
Yeah.
Pike.
Oh,
Well,
you
he
mean-
said
yeah.
1701, but it's like, so you've got the Pike version, the second run version, you've got the refit version. I'm just saying, if this, how pedantic are you, computer? Also, I've already got an answer for anyone goes, they said there were only 5. What about the NX-1? That predates the Federation.
Ah.
Because the computer says Federation ships called Enterprise, not Starfleet.
That's true.
Wow.
Fair point.
Take that, other nerds.
Take that, Chris, when he was realizing this.
See, this is
So-
why it's all good to be a pedantic.
You get to feel so good about
Esthetician
yourself.
I'm
about
surprised he
this
didn't go to
'cause you're killing it.
engineering. I mean, that's
I
that was
know,
his,
that was what I was
his
thinking. Like,
place.
go to the.
Do you know how much of a pain in the ass it would have been to rebuild that?
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to.
Might be, yeah. Because
No,
they
he-
kept nothing.
He did go straight to his little corner.
Yeah,
booth.
Yep.
his
They specifically
spot.
recreated that pie slice. For
Yeah,
him.
and
Yum,
so
yum.
now what I was a little interested in is what door did they enter the bridge from? Because did
Transporter.
the
Bourbon pecan?
did the 1701 did it actually have a
Turbo shaft?
turbo shaft on that side of the bridge?
No, it only had the one door at
That's
the
what I
back.
thought. So where did they?
So that
enter?
just had to be like a pure,
like the arch.
the arch of the
Well, I mean, it is the
holodeck.
holodeck. I mean,
That's true. Usually you don't enter. Yeah, that's true. I guess whenever you
You
enter
just
the
kind of like
holodeck.
are there.
Um,
That's true. I also did read that they'd also been planning to have a fake reunion on the holodeck with young versions of all of the original crew. But they cut that because it would have been very expensive, and also I don't think it was needed at all.
yeah, and also
Yeah, no.
stupid.
Although I would love to see more of Bones.
See more bones.
Yeah, they
I
do
just-
I mean, this is the first of 2 times that they do like any kind of TOS crossover episodes.
When you say they, do you mean Star Trek generally? Like a
I guess no, this is the first of 3 crossover episodes in Star Trek.
same question generally?
So
like, are
there's
you
one-
counting
there's one-
trials and
I
tribulations?
think that's the one
that's
he's
what I'm saying,
specifically
yeah, so
referencing.
Yeah,
I
so
don't know if there's another
that's
one.
the
Oh, there
big one.
is.
Oh,
That's
fabulous.
the one that most people think of because in that one they actually do. By that time, that's probably another 5 years down the road, but they do a fair amount with
CGI.
CGI and especially like splicing
They, like,
footage together, like
Basically,
Ooh.
Forrest Gump some shit.
compositing.
Forrest Gump some shit?
Yeah, because they do that in Forrest Gump.
How they splice Tom Hanks
put
into
Tom
a bunch
Hanks
of...
into scenes with Nixon
Oh,
and stuff.
yeah. Congratulations. How does it feel to be an All-American? I got to pee.
So yeah, they do that sort of thing with the DS9 cast and the TOS cast, and it actually works pretty well.
Yeah.
And then the other time is just it's an Enterprise episode.
Oh, boy.
Oh, that one I don't know about.
Yeah,
Oh, it's so good.
But I've seen Trials and Tribulations.
Are there tests?
Oh, is it a mirror?
Yeah,
universe one?
it's a wank. It's a
Oh.
major
It really
wank.
is.
Oh, boy.
So speaking of wank,
No.
um,
Disagree.
I would say this is safely a better fan wank episode than Unification
Unification?
was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say for sure.
Hands down.
The thing is, here's the thing. I'm looking at this episode. It's very wanky.
It is.
It's super, super wanky.
It is.
Unification, not at all wanky. Or minimal wankiness.
I would
But
say
just not a great episode.
I would say
because
more-
it's confusing and drawn out.
Well, that's
more
right. I guess
fan servicey than wanky, I would say. If,
Yeah, like
if you
this
could
one-
see the difference.
this one has more fan service. But as far as like the 2 episodes that feature old TOS actors,
Sarek.
excuse me,
Sarek's the best all around.
of the ones that feature
the main cast.
Main cast TOS actors returning.
But yes, Sarah.
This is better than Unification by far. Because, like...
I think it's just different. I think I was a little bit nonplussed by this just because it's so... It's there and for entirely to be servicey. It's let's cram as many TOS references in as we can. The plot was fine. I loved the Dyson sphere idea. I wish we got to explore more of that, like the people who left, why, and learn more about, what their lives were,
wonder where
why they left.
Because the star was going.
They probably got
bored
that's
true.
Or something.
But just seeing more of that would have been very interesting. But instead, we see. It's crammed together with a Scott episode, which kept it kind of superficial.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Dyson sphere then.
I love the Dyson
sphere. A Dyson sphere is a real
theoretical
thought experiment about how you could, given enough resources, you could build something like that.
Well, it's meant to harness the energy of the star, right?
Yeah, the idea basically being you build a shell around a star at about the distance that is the habitable zone, so about where
the
Earth
Goldilocks
is.
zone.
Yeah, so if you... And,
just right.
As Data says, the surface area or the interior surface area of something like that would be...
enormous.
Immeasurably huge.
Yeah.
Wait, because didn't they say it was like 500,000 kilometers or...
It was way more than that.
I don't remember. They said a number.
He said how many. He said it was like some hundreds of thousands of M-class, the surface area of M-class planets.
Oh, okay, then
something like that.
I'm remembering the wrong set of numbers. Then.
Yeah. So basically, imagine how far away the Earth is from the sun. Now, at that point, make a ball around the sun.
Yeah.
And that is your surface area on the inside.
Oh yeah, humongous.
Yeah, and that's why it is not in any way a practical idea. Like it would literally take more resources to construct than are available in many solar systems.
And I almost feel like we don't really see how fascinating this thing is in this episode, because at the same time we're trying to figure out this some other thing. We're just studying it. We're not talking about what it means.
Yeah.
And also Scott is there
we can talk about what it means.
Yeah, and Scott is there getting on everyone's nerves.
Poor Scott. No respect.
There's other Dyson-esque theoretical technologies.
You talked about Ringworld at one point.
So there's the Dyson ring, which is basically, instead of building an entire shell, you just build like a strip that is essentially in orbit,
which still gets that much more energy from the sun than you would.
And then the other one I've heard, and this is potentially not really practical, but more practical, would be the Dyson swarm, which is not in the same sense where you would really live necessarily. So instead of having a shell, you basically have a whole bunch of basically satellite platforms that are in orbit around a star.
Are they also revolving?
They might be. I don't know.
Collecting energy from it. So solar panels.
Like solar panels in
space.
Yeah. Because you figure the sun at any given point in time today, the sun is putting energy enough, thousands, perhaps millions of times more energy onto the surface of the Earth than we are demanding for human use. And we're just not using any of it. We're using some small amounts. Trees use it. Plants use it. We don't use all that much, other than in which we use plants.
In a Futurama episode, Nixon builds a Dyson fence to keep out the immigrants.
I haven't seen that one.
The Dyson wheel is way older than the Dyson fence, guys.
All right. So I'm gonna bring this up because I bet y'all are cool with it. How did everyone like the green drink?
It was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like some, please.
I had no problem with it.
I hated it.
Why?
I thought it was forced, and I thought neither character in that scene was in character. So what the scene is, Scotty goes to 10 forward. Data is back being a bartender again, which is fine because he does have experience being a bartender. We all saw him be a bartender many times actually.
Yeah.
He happens to know where Guidance Statch is, which is right in front of him because he knows. And Scotty asks, "Oh, what's that? Since it's not your fucking synthahol garbage." And Data looks at it and says, "Oh, there's no label. What do I do? I'll sniff it. Oh, I don't know what it is. It's green." That is not at all what Data would do, because Data is a perfectionist asshole. He would take a small sip, analyze it with his computer brain, and give a list of ingredients.
Right.
And then Scotty would take the bottle and say, it's green. There, fixed your fucking joke, writers.
That
Fuck
is-
you.
yeah,
but
That is
the
better.
whole the joke was that because there was a time when Scotty said it's green.
Yeah, and he should say it again. It shouldn't be Data.
Yeah, I agree. She's right.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I have no issue with
He's
it.
just mad he didn't think of it.
He is.
Man, I guess I just kind of was like, yeah, whatever.
I didn't get the reference, so for me, I just thought it was cute. But you're right.
You forgot that he called a green
I did.
before?
Chris reminded me on the way here, but I
Oh.
had forgotten about green.
That was one of his finest moments.
I know. Well, right up there with that time
Who
he
was he
killed all
getting
those
drunk?
women and...
One of those aliens that turned people into styrofoam D20s.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And they played, the That's what this episode was missing.
Yeah.
They should have used that at least once.
They really should have brought back some of those.
I was gonna say, you know what they should have brought back was...
That's what this needed. This needed a ridiculous TOS music cue on top of its 8,000 other things.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was certainly filled to the brim, but I thought it was delightful. You know,
Yeah,
I thought the references was everything in place in character? No, but I don't know. I thought it did what it was trying to do. It accomplished its goal, which was to bring a beloved character back and get into some hijinks.
Yeah, well, and it was, kind of like, some of Loxana's more recent outings. It's a story about someone struggling with aging.
Yeah, I feel like they could have deepened it a little more. I don't know how, because like you see all the elements are there. Like the chat with Picard on the bridge is a really nice chat with Picard on the bridge. The him and Geordi realizing, I don't belong in this world because I'm 70 years behind on technology.
Yeah.
All my technical journals have failed me.
The technical journals.
It's there. I don't know if Doohan had the chops necessarily.
Well, true, but
I thought he was doing a good job.
But I also think that the part of the point is that he's not really behind. Like there like the specifics, like the dilithium crystal is in this recrystallized in the thing now. Like that's like trivia.
Yeah.
But when it came to like fundamentals and understanding how things worked, he was better than Geordi. Like when they had to hotwire the engines on
the engines of a ship from 70 years ago.
Or, well, just in general, I mean, like, Geordi's like, you can't pump that much energy into the thing, and he's like, well, of course you can, because,
I lie in the manuals.
I literally wrote the book
you
on this.
monster. This is what Scotty just lies all the time. Oh, yeah, it'll take me half an hour, so he's done in 5 minutes so that he looks like a fucking hero.
I liked that.
Oh, the manuals are wrong, so that I can not follow the manuals and look like a fucking hero.
It's like he said, when you're writing the manual, you err on the side of caution.
Yeah, it's just like, medicine, right? The medicine says don't take more than 200 milligrams. Well, 800 or 900 should be fine.
I have a Robitussin right now for my stupid throat. If people hear me coughing, I have a stupid throat thing right now. And I realized, I know, it sucks. I took the little cup and in the dark filled it to the top, because that's how you fill the stupid little cup, and downed it. And the next day, or today, I look at the little cup, and the mark for where you're supposed to fill the thing to is all the way at the bottom. And I say, this little cup is like 3 times bigger than the little cup needs to be, because I fucking filled that
Well,
thing.
because the cups are made
They
to
don't
fit
want you
over
to
the
spill
cap.
it.
I was mistaken. I was misled by this little cup.
You have fuck your liver.
Was it green?
No, it was clear, and it tastes awful.
Yeah, the only time you have to
Obviously. As soon as
really,
you said you were drinking Robitussin, it made me like actually kind of gag a little bit.
Yeah.
Because,
Dimetap is better.
you should not take beyond the recommended dosage on most medicines, particularly on
aspirin and Advil, right?
Aspirin is not terrible. Acetaminophen is.
Yeah, acetaminophen
that'll
is
tear up your
really...
insides.
Yeah.
Well, that one's bad for your liver, and ibuprofen's bad for your kidneys, if I'm not, or your stomach lining or something.
Yeah, that's my problem.
Something
I take too much, or took. I haven't taken it in a long time. I take too much ibuprofen, and now I have gastritis.
Oh,
Boo.
is that something that goes away,
Uh,
or are you stuck with it for life?
Well, I'm sure the pizza tonight helped.
yeah, no. It turns out it's not so much what you eat; it's how much you eat.
Oh, okay.
That almost sounds like a gallbladder thing.
That sounds like a challenge.
This week on Man with Gastritis versus Food, I make mistakes.
That would be a
Oh my
great.
god, I would watch.
That would be a great show. It's just a guy taking like, oh! I don't know if it's a heart attack or not.
Let's be real, though. The best episodes of Man vs. Food were the ones you're like, oh boy, he just ate how many ghost chilies?
Oh, no.
His shit is gonna burn later.
Oh.
no.
And also, there's an episode of The Golden Girls where Sophia thinks she is having a heart attack, but she's actually just having a gallbladder attack because of all the shit she ate
I think
that
there's
day.
an episode of Everybody Loves Raymond or King of Queens or Mad About You or something like that where there was a character that was in the hospital thinking they were dying and it turned out it was just gas.
Gas.
Speaking of going to the hospital, there was a line that Scotty says that made me angry.
Mm-hmm.
He says to Bev, like, "Oh, at least the medical staff here is prettier than on the original
doctors,
Enterprise." The
specifically.
doctors, yes. I'm like, "Oh, fuck you, Scotty. Bones was gorgeous." Chapel wasn't bad looking either.
Well, she was
a
a nurse,
nurse.
not a doctor.
She eventually was a
She
doctor.
was a doctor eventually.
That's true, but
Was he ever on the ship when she was a doctor?
yeah,
Yes.
it was during the movies.
Oh, all right, well, fine.
Well, she was really only in
Motion
picture, right?
Yeah.
The worst. Well, no.
No,
The,
not the worst.
the
third worst.
Second worst, in my opinion.
Interesting.
You put it ahead of Search.
Yeah, I hate Search for Spock so much.
No,
Well, so-
that
no,
one's my least favorite.
Which one? Search?
3.
Yeah, it's bad, right?
3 is the worst.
Okay, but what about
Yeah, me too.
So you put
3 and then 1 and then 5.
Oh, really? You put 1 before 5?
As being
yeah.
shittier than 5? Yes, I do. Because
Wow.
5 at least is entertaining. 1 is just fucking boring and too long.
Well, I'll give you that.
Thank you.
So I will say one thing that was helped by Scotty being Scotty was it makes more sense for him to say that they soured the milk.
Yeah.
Coming out of him, it's like, that doesn't sound stupid coming out of him. Sounded stupid in the original episode, but here it's like, no, yeah.
That's another great example of like a really bad story to tell.
Yeah.
Scotty's like, oh yeah, let me tell you about this time that I like was convicted or was accused of murdering lots of women. And then Geordi's like, let me tell you about the time my spank bank hologram person actually showed up in real life and hated me.
I'm willing to left out a lot of the...
Yeah, I'm sure the details were in there.
Do you think so? Because Scotty's been stuck in a telegram, a
Telegram.
teleporter for however long.
75 years.
Any sexy little piece of information might get him. I'm just saying.
Now, that's another thing about this episode. Now, this
He
is
didn't
kind
come
of
out with a chub?
This is kind of, yes. This is kind of a one-off episode in that we're probably not going to hear any more about the Dyson Sphere or Scotty.
It's a shame.
So, but one thing that came up in this episode, which I think is pretty substantial, is you can live essentially indefinitely in a transporter buffer.
I mean, he had
Not
to do
Wilson so much.
He had to
or
do
whatever.
So that
some
was, I think-
jiggery to make
Franklin.
it work.
Yeah.
Franklin, thank you.
But that sounds like it just was because
No one cared about Franklin.
something failed. Like
Scotty
like
did.
there
He was
a-
very upset.
for,
like,
for 0.5 seconds, and then he had a party.
like a well-maintained transporter.
Yeah, like, you could make a device. Because he had, like you said, he had to, like, jury rig something. If you purpose-built a transporter buffer-based...
You could bring
Like-
people in stasis who are
Well-
dying of a disease and need every second they need.
Well, let
they
me
can get.
let me tell you this one.
Yeah.
So, all right, spoiler alert, people.
Oh my goodness.
Star Trek Voyager is about a ship that's stranded in the Delta Quadrant. It's going to take like 70 years to travel back to Earth.
Really?
That's what the premise of the whole show is.
Sounds terrible.
Well,
No wonder people don't like this show.
it's lost in space in Voyager.
No offense, Ames.
Anyway, so that's the premise for Voyager.
I know you do, that's why I
But
said no
I don't feel
offense.
like there's a spoiler because literally that's the plot of the pilot episode.
Oh, I wasn't calling spoiler. I just didn't know.
But anyway, so with this new Scotty rigging technique, could you not just put the entire crew into the transporter buffer and let the holographic doctor pilot it home?
Oh, pick me.
Yes.
They're in a quadrant that they've never mapped before, so there should probably be a way to do mapping
But
and studying of new things that would be valuable information to bring back to Starfleet.
well, that's kind of what Janeway thinks too. The captain.
I would make a great Janeway.
Well,
I'm a horrid bitch.
I also. I think she's a horrible captain, considering all the time she fails to get her crew home.
And I like to smack 7 of 9 around. Take that as you will.
Well, that's not
I'd
my kink, but it's okay.
Play the bongos with 7 and 9.
The only one I remember ever playing an instrument was Harry. He played the clarinet.
That's true. Well, Seven and the Doctor were singers.
That's true. But still, no bongos that I recall.
Well, I recalled them quite well.
No, again, there was just the clarinet.
I went through puberty when that show was on the air.
So you were doing a lot of balancing of the checkbook to 7 of 9?
Awesome.
So, what else?
Duan allegedly urged DS9 writers to add Scotty to the cast.
I read that, yeah.
They said no.
Wait, what? He wanted to be like a main cast member on the show?
I don't know how main
That
it
would
would
have been
be, but
amazing.
it would have been very different.
I mean, they basically do that later with Worf on DS9.
Yeah.
Put in a character from the previous series. I don't think... The thing is, I think the caliber of acting talent on TNG surpasses what was available in the 60s and in
Except for DeForest Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying.
He's
I mean,
timeless.
I think DeForest Kelly,
But he's also-
Shatner, and
he's also only got a couple
Leonard
years
Nimoy
left.
are all good actors. But I think
You think Shatner's a good actor?
in his way he is. I think he's definitely has a style that's unique to him. But I don't think he's a bad actor.
I don't think he's a good actor.
I think he was right for that role.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
but I don't think. I think that some of the secondary actors. I don't think Walter, Takei, Nichols, or
You shut your whore
I think that they've, Takei in particular has kind of become a better actor probably over
Well,
time.
you don't know if he's become a better actor. He's just become a bigger celebrity.
That's true. But I don't think... And I guess Nichelle Nichols is pretty good.
Yeah, she just didn't get to say anything more than
Yeah, she didn't have a lot
eye
to do.
captain.
Channel open, sir.
Let's say I have one job on this ship.
I
It's
guess-
stupid, but I'm gonna
do
do it.
My point is, if you put one of those actors on TNG as a regular character,
Or DS9.
or any show, I think they'd stand out. And not just because they're old, but because they are not pulling their weight.
I bet Nichelle could have gone toe-to-toe with any TNG
Yeah,
actor.
I take that back. Yeah, Nichelle actually was pretty talented.
She didn't get to say anything.
Yeah, but when she did, and when I have seen her act
Because she
since
got to do,
then,
and she
she's
got to
done a
do
good job.
more in like the films too,
Yeah,
like a little bit, not like a lot, but you just get the impression. At least I get the impression that she's pretty damn good based on that. So
But imagine, like, scenes... Presumably, they'd put him on and also still brought Cole Meany over. You could have had them just like... I mean, Cole Meany's accent is actually his accent, but the two of them just accenting at each other for hours.
well, that's the other thing too. In the '60s, it wasn't
like
a problem
Gerard
to
Butler or
have
on Craig
an
Ferguson.
American guy making a really, really terrible Scottish accent on TV.
Yeah.
That would have stood out in the '90s.
Yeah, it would have been a little weird.
Because, by the 90s, people knew what Scotland was.
Wait, that's a real place?
Yeah.
Not like Wales.
The Loch Ness Monster lives there.
Whoa.
Yeah. And they
She's
eat
a
haggis.
superstar.
Is there anybody else important that lives there?
The Queen?
Queen doesn't live in Scotland.
No, she has an estate, Balmoral, in Scotland. It's real. A big part of the plot of the Queen. She spends some time there.
Yeah, come
Good
on.
movie.
Don't you know
Is
the
it her
Queen?
summer home or does she live there?
No, it's like one of her many estates.
How many corgis?
But where does she live most of the time?
I mean, Buckingham Palace.
Okay, that's where she lives.
Okay, all right. So in
That's all I'm
fairness,
saying.
though, before the United Kingdom was formed, Scotland and the UK were two independent states that were eventually joined by having a common ruler in
Mary
King
Queen of
James.
Scots.
I don't know. I don't know who the first king of both was. It might have been Mary.
It's a good story, bro.
Point is,
So there is a point.
the Queen of England is also the Queen of
The
Scotland.
King of Scotland.
Yeah,
There's different rules
It's
there.
a weird thing,
Are we done with relics?
No, Ames, because relics always have something left to offer us.
I want to go back very, very, very briefly to the fucking green beverage again.
Oh, Jesus.
And just mention, because I forgot to mention this when I was griping about it earlier. That scene was originally meant for Guinan, but she wasn't available.
Kind
Fucking
of.
Whoopi.
that sucks.
Too, but that would have been good.
Because she was also, I'm pretty sure Whoopi Goldberg is a big original series fan.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
kind of a
that
shame
would've-
that she didn't get to
She
act with
she loved
one of her
Nichelle
heroes.
Nichols. Probably still does.
So,
Schisms.
wait, I was gonna say one other thing is that I figured the
Yes.
time is right. That, like, the original green was a very, very dark green liquid, and God knows what it was. But who wants to bet that the green of TNG was probably just a shitload of ecto cooler.
Oh,
I was
be
actually
awesome.
thinking it looked like
I'd have that.
Ecto Cooler.
Ecto Cooler's dope.
Yes.
Do you know that in the early 2000s they changed the name of it to Orange Mango Tanger Green?
I did not, but it makes sense.
Sounds
And
tasty.
because I was looking for it one day in the supermarket, and I couldn't find it, so I grabbed Orange Mango Tanger Green, thinking, well, okay, this kind of looks like it, and it was the same stuff. They just, I think, the real Ghostbusters was no longer a thing, and they figured that in that marketing tie-in, it
Just most
that
the
license
kids
that-
wouldn't fucking get it.
and the license expired, and they weren't going to pay the money for it. And as far as I know, they don't make it at all anymore. But that's a damn shame because that shit was fucking delicious.
They
It was
actually
90%
re-released.
sugar.
Didn't they re-release Ecto Cooler for the new Ghostbusters film?
I think
briefly?
so, but
Yeah,
it was like a
they
limited
did,
edition.
but I refused to buy it because women.
Oh yeah, that
Agreed.
makes sense. Yeah, they
And-
were, after all, raping your childhood.
They
I don't
really
know if you were
did.
aware of that.
They really did.
Yeah.
Joking aside, too, no, they probably fucked with the formula and made it less delicious. It's probably
I mean,
less sugar.
They
Like
did that
actually
with,
less delicious, or like it wouldn't be as good because nostalgia.
Shh.
Okay.
Same thing.
They did that with Surge. They re-released.
What did they do
Surge.
to it? Did they take out the chemicals that makes your
No.
balls shrink up
No,
or whatever it
wasn't-
was?
It just wasn't because they re-released it and it was a big marketing scheme. I ordered some like a fool because it was like a nostalgia thing, and I was like, "Oh, I'd love to have Surge." You know what I think they should re-release? Do you
Oh my
remember?
God.
Do you remember
Zima.
the red Dr Pepper? Everyone remembers the red
Yeah,
Mountain
Dr.
Dew?
Pepper Red. That shit was
Yeah,
great.
It was great. It was good stuff.
I think it was like extra cherry, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was like cherry Dr
Yeah,
Pepper.
yeah, you're right. But yes, Relics, I don't know. Just speaking of nostalgia, I thought it was cute. You
It
know.
was fun. It's definitely the better of the two this week. It's probably the best one for a little while now.
Yeah. Well, it's the better of the the Scotty and the Spock episodes. Like, first of all, it's only one episode
That's true.
instead of two. The plot is much more straightforward.
And simple.
Yes. But yes, as you did say, the absolute best let's bring back a TOS person is still Sarek.
Yeah, that one's amazing.
Yeah.
And then they brought him back again to kill him for a shitty episode. Thanks
True.
a lot, Unification.
Fucking.
So there we go. There's another thing this episode didn't do. It didn't uselessly kill Sarek.
They just keep bringing them back to uselessly
It
kill
also
them.
didn't uselessly, or
Oh,
you.
no,
I
they
think,
killed Sarah.
I mean, it
You
would have kind of been a
bastards.
bummer, and I don't know how I would have liked it, but for some reason, I remember the way I haven't seen this episode in quite a while, and the way I remembered it ending was Scotty staying behind on the ship, on the ship that gets blowed up.
Oh.
Oh.
That's very different.
While
That he'd get blown up?
so Geordi escapes. I don't know
Oh,
why.
shit.
I don't remember. I don't know why I remembered it that way, but I did.
Because it would have been a better
So I was a
episode,
little pleasant. I
question
was
mark?
pleasantly surprised. I was like, "Oh, he actually survived. Oh, that's great."
And they just give him a shuttlecraft without asking Starfleet.
Yeah, well, plus they're on their way to a starbase. You think they just take him there?
And again, I don't know if my fake ending would have been better, worse, or not if he had a heroic sacrifice.
Well, it would have really upset me if he fucking gave his life for Geordi after Geordi was such a fucking
Well, it would have not just
douchebag
been for
to him.
Geordi; it would have been for
would've-
everybody.
It would have been it would have entirely changed the tone that this episode needed to be.
Yeah.
Like it was, as I said, it was very superficial for most of it. If at the end, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, he's killed himself for our benefit, you'd be like, what the fuck just happened in
Yeah.
this episode?
What did I just watch?
I just got slapped in the face.
Yeah, no, that's
It
Yeah.
started out
Instead
like a fan wank, and now
Now I'm crying.
Also,
Fan stab.
apparently, they only realized after the episode came out, like, wait a minute, guys, the Janolan shields were up. How did they beam Geordi and
The writers have
Scotty
admitted
out?
that they entirely forgot.
Apparently, the way someone, like, explained it away later was like, oh, because they were full fore and aft, so there was a gap in the middle.
I say another possible explanation is maybe if you know the shield frequency,
Yeah.
maybe
yeah.
you can tune your transporter
Plus,
to go
it's
through it.
it's much older shields. Maybe they just know how to punch through those ones now.
Scott and Geordi both jumped at the same time.
Also, I don't see how could they doubt that Scotty could rig the transporter to do the diagnostic cycle. I mean, he's the man that invented transwarp beaming.
Has he done that yet?
He did it with Admiral Archer's prize Beagle.
What?
Kelvin.
It's a line from
it
the
doesn't.
Helen movie.
God, fuck, damn it. Fucking damn it.
But yes, no, I just...
Grumble, grumble.
It
toil
did
and
do
trouble.
a very good job of establishing, like, Scotty really is just a fucking madman. All the crazy shit he does.
He was nearly suicidal there at the end.
But like,
Maybe that's where Jake assumed he'd get
Yeah,
killed.
maybe.
But like, when you think about it, it's like, oh yeah, Geordi is a little more level-headed, isn't he?
Right,
So,
we've been
yeah.
talking a while. We have 10 minutes to talk about schisms. We won't need more. We
I was
won't
gonna
need
say,
more than that.
that's twice as much time as we
I
need.
think this is a great episode.
You like it?
You don't.
The
right.
alien
All
abductions
right.
in a subspace plane.
Hear me out.
Okay.
All right,
No.
I'm gonna play. Okay, you can decide if I'm playing devil's advocate or not.
It's like it's
but-
night terrors
but-
all over again.
Well, here's the thing. I think
It's
that
not even
this
as good as Night
No,
Terrors.
it is better than Night Terrors. I think this one is probably the first moderately. I won't even say moderately successful. I'd say it's the closest they get to having a successful horror episode.
Night terrors didn't.
No, Night Terrors was stupid.
Yes.
This I think like there was actually some good tension when we don't before we know what's going on and people are just kind of losing time.
And their arms.
Yeah, and like that's really I don't know.
I don't know how they did the same thing to Data when he's a completely different being, but whatever.
Oh yeah, when they're like, "Oh, it looks like your arm was ripped off and put back on."
Yeah, so I don't know. I thought that there was I don't know. I think the ending did not live up to the build up.
Not at all.
It just ends.
Yeah,
They just leave.
It just sort of ends.
Put some police tape around this area and don't come back here.
And yeah, it certainly did feel to me a lot. The ending to me was very reminiscent of the ending of Conspiracy, where it's like, ooh, there's this threat, and will they attack us again? And it almost seems like it's the setup to a recurring villain.
Yeah.
But that I can assure you goes nowhere.
The writers really, really didn't like the critters. Apparently in Star Trek Online, they name them the Solanae, and also they turn out to be servants to the Iconians.
Oh, Jesus.
Which is fun. But yeah, the writers didn't like the alien costumes and like the aliens in general. They called them fish monks. So they never brought them back again.
See, in my kind of fan headcanon, and this is another Voyager thing, there's a species in Voyager that is kind of similar. They live in a parallel universe called Species 8472, and they're kind of nefarious and they're curious about humans.
They're like the really, really bad baddies, right?
They're bad. Well, that's the thing. I don't want to spoil too much, but there's some depth to them.
I have seen one of them in Star Trek Timelines.
So
What about that very handsome race that Worf likes?
Yes. Also fish monks.
Sounds too much like
So
chipmunks.
yeah, in my headcanon, these guys are species 8472, and they just get a redesign for Voyager.
That worked. I guess I decided to pop over to Memory Beta to see if there was anything else about these guys. Memory Beta is another fan wiki, but it includes information from novels, comics, like all the licensed...
So the non-canon stuff?
Non-canon, but licensed by Paramount. So, like, they don't include, like, fan fiction.
Was the Star Trek Online stuff on there?
I don't remember, but apparently they do reappear. I don't know if they're connected to the Iconians or not, in a Titan novel, which I want to say is a Riker-focused series of books.
What is?
I think it's a ship he ends up commanding.
Yeah, he gets transferred to the Titan
Right.
after Nemesis.
Okay, yeah. So he gets another go at them apparently in the books.
Yikes. And he's got personal bad beef with them.
Yep. So, Jake, to your point about schisms and horror, we're now getting to the seasons that actually So this is right around the time I started watching other Star Treks as a kid. So we're actually coming up to more and more episodes. Like, I definitely saw this one. I definitely saw this. This is one I definitely saw. And so I don't remember what I thought when I first saw it. But I know now I feel like... I get what you're saying. But I feel like it doesn't work as well on a second pass. Like, and you can say, yeah, well...
Yeah, it definitely doesn't work as well when you know what's actually going on.
Yeah, but I mean, and that's like... You might say, well, yeah, obviously. But I mean, there are so many things where even... when you know what's coming, you can still enjoy multiple watches of them. Like, actually, the first time I ever saw The Usual Suspects, I'd actually, unfortunately, already had the big twist spoiled for me.
But it's still an enjoyable
It's
watch.
such a good movie.
Or
you just
I'd
watch
say,
it.
7.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of things with Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, until the real twist was
I'm saying, yeah, except-
fucking rapist piece of garbage.
Except his career in life. But yeah, like, I feel like...
What a twist.
But that's the most terrifying twist of all.
That's true. Yeah, the twist. Most of the people... Oh, good, someone's shoveling.
Well, it was about fucking time. The snow's been down for 4 days.
Yeah, but today's the day it's actually soft enough to move.
Nah, I know. I'm just ball busting because everyone and their mother that I know is like falling and hitting themselves and becoming hurt.
So apologies, listeners. We're gonna have some shoveling in the background. But yeah, so I don't know. I feel like there is a failing on the part of the episode that even on like a later viewing, it's still for me. I'm just like, it just doesn't work as well for me anyway.
Yeah, I would say this is a movie. This is an episode that I've seen a few times, and I'm pretty sure I saw when I was a kid. And something about this episode that pissed me off from the very first time I watched it as a kid, and it continues to piss me off to this fucking day, is what the fuck, Holodeck? Like, seriously, put the table at an incline. Okay, here's a completely different table.
Yes.
Okay, make that table into metal. Okay, here's a fucking gurney.
I have that note. It's
Yes.
like, wait a minute. It's like clearly they just didn't have the time or resources to make
They just grabbed
all
some
the
props.
I know,
that they had.
and to say like
all the like iterative stages.
the four people who are like, oh yeah, there was definitely a table. None of them are like, wait a minute, it was an exam table, which is entirely different. Oh wait, yeah, it's not really a table. It's something different than a table. But we're gonna keep calling it a table, like you're having fucking dinner at it.
Yeah.
Or like, oh yeah, there was like an arm thing over it, and like, okay, here's an arm thing with a giant fucking laser machine on the end of it. Like, and like I remember, this is a memory that I definitely have of watching this episode when I was a kid and being like, how is it inferring these things?
Yeah.
How does it know this stuff? And then
It's like how it knew what version of the Enterprise Scotty needed to see.
Yeah.
Based on how much of that whiskey was in his system.
this is even less believable than that.
No, and that scene went on for fucking long.
Well, that's okay. The poetry scene. Too fucking long.
Oh no,
I'm
that
sorry.
was the only
that
good
was
scene in the
delightful.
whole
Not
episode.
long enough.
Delightful.
Too long.
Not long enough.
Agreed.
Mutt the barber could have been cut by a little bit.
No.
By his
This
scissors.
was too long. Like, this episode
There was no plot.
ran short.
Yeah, the barbershop could have been shorter, but no, there should be a whole episode of just Data making poetry.
I think there is.
In fact, I want there to be a book of Data's poetry, and I want to thrive on it.
I also love how well he takes constructive criticism.
Well, of course, he
Because
does.
I know
He's an
so many
android.
writers who can't.
I think what happened, I think the writers, they
Shots
wanted
fired.
to do kind of like a thriller, horror, mystery plot. And they're like, oh, well, what if the crew is losing time? What if they're
What
having
if there's,
like
abductions?
like a
and stuff?
shared vision, and then it turns out it's an abduction? Okay. And then they wrote themselves in a corner because they're like, okay, well, how do we resolve this? Well, we have to show who's abducting them. Oh, we do? Or like we have to have a resolution.
Yeah. Oh, they live in subspace, and also something's happening in this cargo bay where there's a lit
And I
light
thought that was cool
wall.
too. It reminded me a lot of, what kind of reminded me of that whole thing, and especially the thing in Riker's room that sucked him in, was Poltergeist, the fucking hole in the wall in Poltergeist. Fucking love that movie.
Is it a hole in the wall? I thought it was the TV or some shit.
There's multiple. There's the TV,
Yeah, there's a couple.
but then there's the end is a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
The only thing I remember about Poltergeist is the fucking clown doll
Oh yeah,
attacking the kid in his room. I'm like, no.
the clown doll didn't bother me as much when I was a kid. The thing that really bothered me about that same scene though was the tree eating him.
Oh, that was fun.
Like that.
See,
fucking
I always
scared
forget about
shit
the
out of
tree.
I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna give Bev lots of guff because God fucking damn it, Bev, you're the worst doctor.
Worse than Bones?
In this case, way worse. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So Riker hasn't been sleeping well. So she tells him, "Oh, you should drink this warm milk
Oh,
toddy
warm
thing
milk toddy!
from Aunt Adele."
That's
and I'm looking back.
so gross.
I'm looking back at the very fucking first episode of TOS, The Man Trap, when McCoy wanted to go to sleep and was, needed to take something to sleep, and he took some kind of a concoction of some sort, knocked him the fuck out.
Yep.
You have better sleeping mechanisms. McCoy has taken it the first time we ever saw McCoy.
No, that's like...
Maybe it was a hot milk toddy.
I have a note in my thing. Is like, Riker's face even says, like, are you fucking... Bev, give me drugs.
This holistic bullshit. What are you?
Wasn't there
Fuck, Bev.
Wasn't there also like a thing that Bev had, the somnatic inducer or whatever?
Yeah, no, there's so many options. Why she decided to go full fucking anti-vax mom?
Because it was a callback to the thing when she had the thing. And
Maybe his
Picard's
insurance doesn't
Aunt
cover it.
Aunt Adele,
Picard
that
gave
bitch.
him Yeah, no, that was dumb.
That was so gross, though, too. Like, I messaged Chris and was like, really? Hot milk toddy?
Yeah, no.
I mean, hot toddies are delicious, but you don't put milk in a hot toddy.
Well, Aunt Adele
You put
does.
whiskey in it. Well, that bitch is
You
crazy.
put whiskey and milk.
No, you don't put milk. It's like tea, whiskey, and honey. You don't put milk. It would be disgusting.
I have a cinnamon stick.
To your hot milk toddy.
Obviously.
I understand that the idea was warm milk is supposed to make you sleepy and toddies make you sleepy because hard liquor.
And it's the future.
But, like, let's not mix them together, shall we?
But yeah, you're right. I agree that you go to the doctor and say, "Hi, I'm insomnia and I cannot sleep."
And have you seen how much effort I put into my bedhead look?
Rub some
A lot.
bourbon onto your gums. That'll take care of it.
Apparently, though,
Not
hot
teething.
milk toddies are a thing outside of Star Trek. They didn't just make it up.
Oh, speaking of Riker's hair tusslement, this episode also debuts Troy's new hairstyle, and I liked it.
Yeah, I noticed
That's right.
that.
It was
Not bad.
She
supposed
looks
to.
like a poodle.
It was supposed to debut in the last episode, but they cut the scene.
And good riddance.
She did kiss him at the end still.
True.
Well, she just feels so young again, Troy.
Robitusselman.
Why?
Because the last time she was really old.
Oh, that's true, she was. And she needed to do something about the hair.
Yeah.
I like it, though.
Yeah, no, it looked good. Looks good. Sorry.
Certainly looks better than... Whose hair is it that I object to in the movies? Bev's?
Beverly, yeah.
Looks way better than Bev's fucking shitty
I'll have
ass
lots
hair.
of notes about
She
Bev's
does
hair
like,
next
yeah,
week.
she does like a Jennifer Aniston thing. It doesn't work for her.
Oh no, they cut off Riker's arm. He needs that for jerking it.
Was it his arm or somebody else's?
It was
arm?
his.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
His was the arm that was off with microns.
Is that why when he
Two.
was looking at that screen and with his hand that he ended up being weirded out by himself, or was that something else?
No, I think it was the for some reason something to do with the edge of the panel specifically.
Well, because when they were doing the
Police sketch artistry?
yeah, he was the one that remembered that there
Failures.
was a control panel. Which I will say, when we finally see the actual exam table, no fucking control panel.
Funny.
Yeah, a number of the things it wasn't inclined. A number of the things that they specified it was not. The only thing that was there was the
That claw?
there was the thing, the hook that Worf described.
Yeah, they're scissors. No,
that-
more like tweezers.
Yeah, so
no, maybe suction cup?
There's a thing Worf described that was there, and then like the clasp that like the restraint was there, but the rest of it did not look much like what they talked about.
Well, that's because all of them didn't have the memory for it because they were all asleep at the time.
I will say I appreciated that it wasn't all just. Well, I mean, there's one, but they had someone that wasn't one of the main cast.
They
in
had a
that
bunch of people
sequence.
who weren't. Yeah,
That was a nice touch.
They killed off what's his nut,
Yeah,
Hagler.
everyone is fine except the dead guy.
He's fine.
Now,
That was apparently just a continuity error.
Yeah.
my mom.
Chris, what are you doing
is
my
a,
research, Chris?
My mom is kind of a alien abduction enthusiast.
I feel like this
you've
came up
mentioned
once.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's very into like paranormal shit and aliens in particular. And
Whose side is she on? The aliens?
I don't know.
Wouldn't you be?
One thing that she's mentioned to me before is people who profess to have been victims of abduction often report lost time.
Yeah.
Like they'll go to bed and they'll wake up and lots of time will have passed, but they won't have experienced it, also known as falling asleep. But,
What?
or passing out
Did
drunk.
they have a milk toddy?
Sleep
I
is a
was
good
driving
way
my
to-
truck home from the bar, and next thing I know, I woke up 4 hours later in a cornfield. Must have been aliens.
Have you seen these crop circles where my truck spun out?
Oh, that's a good point. I like that.
So yeah, I mean, so it seems like they were working into this episode a lot of the mythos around alien abduction. It's also worth noting that X-Files was on at the same time.
I almost started whistling the X-Files
which
theme.
is like another. It was so alien abduction was very much a pop
That's
culture.
copyrighted, Caitlin.
Is it?
Probably.
No, it is. Yes, it is.
Phenomena at the time.
Sure.
Also, just thinking of sometimes like, Riker lays down, Geordi's there, like, I just went to bed. It's like, yeah, welcome to adulthood, Riker. That's what it feels like sometimes.
No shit.
God, I mean, how many times we all have that collectively, just the four of us?
Yeah.
Never. I don't sleep.
Fair enough.
Because you're always with the aliens.
That's true. That must be it. I wrote in my notes, I have no idea what's going on with this portal thing.
Which one?
I think I missed all of the techno babble about whatever that thing in the cargo bay was.
Oh, yeah, so that was just basically the whole the fish monks had punched through to our universe so they could do...
Now, what I don't
Science?
understand, right? Here's
Monking?
I would like to point out that it was not until Riker had docked with Geordi and Data that they decided to implement the routing the scanners through the main deflector to increase the efficiency. However, the episode started with Riker waking up. Later, Geordi says that it was their modifications to the sensors that caused the aliens to be able to find their universe. Therefore, Riker was either already having insomnia before the abduction started,
He's a
and
fish
it's
monk.
just a
He's
coincidence,
a fish monk!
or Geordi was full of shit.
I believe
Probably
either of
Geordi
those.
being full of shit.
Or
Fish monk.
Wibbly wobbly timey wimey. Yes.
Yeah, but
somehow punching a hole in the universe went back in time.
But you're right, I guess.
Yeah, no,
that was
I
the
didn't
thing.
think
Was
of
it
that.
like, normally
Yeah.
they couldn't. The aliens weren't able to detect our universe, but when they had, because the modifications that they did to the sensors, the aliens were able to find them. Like it was like a beacon. The same.
Yeah.
It was basically the same thing that Riker did when he deliberately planted a beacon in their time frame, their universe or whatever.
Yeah, that is a pretty big oversight.
Yeah, riddle me that, Star Trek. But yeah, I mean, I think I don't hate this episode as much as you all did.
I was mostly bored,
Yeah, just 'cause it's boring.
confused,
Yeah.
and tired.
I feel like it was a slow burn, and I don't think it was really worth the slow burn.
It was a slow burn
But-
that ended in kind of a
but I
sad
don't know, I
fart.
It wasn't burny enough. It didn't have that jalapeno flavor it needed.
I didn't mind the burn. I wasn't
Did
burned out
Did you
on
feel
it.
the burn?
Yeah.
I did. Because I don't know. I like kind of the mystery thriller angle. I don't think it was handled the best at all times, and I feel that the ending was weak and the aliens were stupid.
But I really liked it.
But no, I'm not saying I really liked it.
I mean, everything about it sucked, but I thought it was a good
I don't
episode.
know. I would not watch this episode again. There are episodes that
I'm definitely
there's-
never watching this
There's
episode
episodes
again.
that I will never watch again. I won't say this is an episode I will never watch again.
It's low on the list, but
Yeah.
it's not in the
There's many episodes
It's not in
before this
the
one.
the Royale pile.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about the Royale.
I tried.
that
The
fucking
bad
shitty casino
casino.
one. Who the...
No, that was just so bizarre. It was like a freaking what Twin Peaks guy,
Yeah, no, David Lynch.
David Lynch episode. All right, cool. Are we done then with
I'm
these?
I think so.
Yes,
All
but
right.
first I just want to mention, after the last time we met and you were talking about ice cream cake, I stopped on the way home and bought an ice cream cake.
Smart,
Bitch.
clever
You
girl.
didn't bring me one.
Fuck no, you already had one. You
What
were
kind?
sharing with
What
me.
kind you get?
You know,
A mini Carvel, like one of the little the
Okay,
small
yeah,
round
yeah.
ones.
those are the bomb.
Those are the bomb.com.
We're gonna need a new one soon
Yes.
because I know this episode's gonna air after the Super Bowl. Don't tell us what happened. But
Go
there-
Chiefs!
but
Wait,
there-
no. Fuck.
But there are Carvel game ball cakes in stock, and they are the best.
Yeah, but the thing is they don't look like they have frosting, and the
No.
frosting is my second favorite
They do
thing
have
after the
frosting.
crunchies.
The crunchies, there's so many
Yeah, it's
crunchies.
all
Oh wait,
crunch.
so is it frosted
It is
then crunched
so
on
it is
top?
it is okay. So it's ice cream cake in the middle.
Yes. Does it also have crunchies?
Okay, so it's
in the
okay.
middle?
All right, so it's a layer of, I believe the bottom layer is chocolate.
Yes.
And then it's got a layer of crunchies. And then there's a layer of vanilla. And then the whole thing is shaped into a half football. And then it's coated in a fudge. And then the fudge is encrusted in crunchies. And then the stitching on the ball is done in the traditional Carvel frosting. So you're basically getting all the best parts of the Carvel cake in what is my opinion the best proportions. Because I do like the frosting as well, but I like the crunchies more. But that's not saying I will take any Carvel cake anytime. But here's the thing, right? So we had that Carvel cake, and it was the football.
Yes.
And man, Carvel's got to pay us. Shit. Sponsored by Carvel, people.
Dude, if Carvel sponsored us, I would be the happiest,
send us-
fattest person
Just send us
imaginable.
just send us like coupons for ice cream cakes. If anybody listening knows Carvel, tell them to send us shit.
Carvel.
James Carvel, the political commentator, is the owner of Carvel Cakes.
Oh my fuck. I don't know if they still do, but apparently at some point they
made a
made one
Snickers
where
one?
the interior was all Snickers ice cream.
Fuck that. I don't want that. I want the
I'd eat
traditional.
that.
I want the plain old.
I will eat either, but I would prefer the original.
There was a Reese's one?
At the so here's the thing. at the
Oh, yeah, I've seen
Hartford
that one,
at the Hartford Civic Center, where
It's the XL Center now.
whatever, where the AHL team plays.
Go Pack.
The concessions there, at least last time I was there, actually sell Carvel soft serve ice cream, which is something I've never seen before. I've only ever seen
still gotta go to
Carvel
a
in the
game,
context of
Sounds
ice
good.
cream cakes.
Which the hockey?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that'd be cool.
Apparently, it exists. You can, and it tastes just like, because the Carvel ice cream cake ice cream doesn't taste like regular ice cream.
No,
to me.
no,
It reminds me of like a hoodsy almost.
It's its own thing, and they have there's a soft serve version of that
Yes,
at the
please.
XL Center.
They also have crunchies.
I think they just have Jimmy's and stuff.
Motherfuckers. Fucking
Anyway,
Jimmy's.
point is,
Get outta
we
here.
had the football. We took it to a party, which, let me tell you, you think you buy an ice cream cake with a made in the shape of football and it's for some kind of party? No. Because you take it to a party, people are going to eat it that aren't you. And I ended up...
did fuck up.
I ended up getting one of... Because I cut it, and I was trying to be, as even-handed as I can. Because one thing about the football cake, it's really
It is
hard
a
to
weird
cut
shape.
it in equal slices. And I gave everybody their choice of slice, and of course, I ended up with what I believe was
tiny,
the
shitty
smallest
slice.
of the slices.
I got the best slice, the end piece with all the
You
crunchies.
bitch.
Yeah.
You got the end piece, and I think it had some frosting on it. Yeah, I really got
Wow.
shafted.
This fucking bitch, huh?
So we definitely need
That's
to
fine,
get
I
another
understand.
ice cream cake, all for Jakey. All for Jakey.
Can I have some?
No.
We get a second
Get
one
your
for
own.
Caitlin.
Okay. No, dude, I
personal
legit-
ice cream cakes.
Oh my god, if we all just had an ice cream cake, that would be amazing. I legit, though, here's the
Our
thing.
audience that doesn't personally know us, which is like 3 people, let's be real, if that,
If even that many.
must think that we are literally the fattest people on the planet. And we're not small by any stretch. I mean...
Ames is tiny-ish.
Ames is small. The rest of us, we could lose a few. I'm not actually going to say it. But we are not sit down and eat an ice cream cake in one sitting, people. I don't want to
That's
give
true.
that impression.
That's true.
takes 2
I only
sittings.
ate half of the ice cream cake that I brought home the other day.
Let's wrap this up.
All right, people. We're going to wrap it up now. That was your Carvel ad for the day. But I'm serious. Like,
A new one tomorrow.
oh, man. Get me a cake. Get that man a cake.
Get the cake! Stat!
All right. Well, that was the fattest thing I've done today.
We didn't even,
Is it
go to
really?
Taco
No, I
Bell.
did eat those pizzas.
All of them.
You remember that book that turned out to be bullshit, A Million Little Pizzas?
I don't know this book, but I'd like
Oh,
to...
it was by Papagino.
No, there was a book that was like featured.
Is it for children?
No,
it was
it was
what's his name?
Ken Jenkins.
Ken Jenkins.
It was a book that was featured in Oprah's book club, supposedly about this guy's like hard life and his drug addiction. It was not A Million Little Pizzas. It was A Million Little Pieces.
Oh.
And then like
I get the
and
joke
like
now.
it was a big sob story, and it was really famous.
It's like hard to
And then
watch
it
from
ca-
30 Rock.
Yeah, well, yeah, and especially in that it was bullshit. Because it turned out that a lot of the stuff in the book was embellished, and like it got like Oprah didn't take kindly to it. It was a big media thing.
To do, yeah.
10
Don't
years
get
ago.
Oprah pissed, man.
Probably more than 10 years ago at this point.
Yeah,
Anyway,
a while ago.
anywho,
How much have we wrapped this up yet?
we're wrapping it up
Not at
now.
all.
Well, folks, thanks for listening. I think that's all we have to say about these 2 episodes.
These 2 cakes.
Cake. Next week, we will be talking about 2 new episodes of Star Trek Generation
And carrot cake.
Ooh.
and carrot cake. Carrot top cake. What about ice cream cake with
Oh my
cream
God.
cheese frosting?
I think you would literally
has
die,
anybody
but it
done
sounds
that?
like a great idea.
Yeah.
Check Tasty. I'm sure it's on there.
I mean, I don't see why you couldn't do that.
Why couldn't you?
You can. I mean, I like regular cake with cream cheese frosting and ice cream. Why not both? Anyway, we will be doing 2 episodes. The first of which is True Q.
Ugh.
True Q. True Q. True Q.
Fuck
True
you.
True Q. True Q. Followed by That does not look like it says Rascals. It looks like it says Roskda. Roskdi. ROSCDI is what I see.
I saw Rose Doctor.
Rose.
Not gonna lie.
Rose Doctor.
Listen,
Yeah.
I've always said my handwriting is atrocious.
That's a bad.
That one's
I
pretty-
usually
yeah.
can read these. That one was tough.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about True Q and Rascals. Rascals!
Oh yeah, that didn't help you at all.
Those little rascals. So those are 2 episodes of the show that we'll talk about next week. And we'll also be saying goodbye, at least for a while, to a good friend, Mr. Miles O'Brien. It will be his final episode is
And we'll be
Rascals.
saying good riddance to Keiko.
And good riddance.
Bye, Keiko.
And Molly.
And it's Molly's first and last episode. Well, being played by that actress. She does not appear in any more TNG.
Well, that's fucking good because. Ugh.
Well, that they have the same actress in DS9, so.
Oh.
Sorry.
We'll get to it next week.
That's why people don't like DS9.
But anyway, so we will be doing that next time. Until then, find our show, podcast.television. Shit. Hold on. Scratch that. Reverse it. We're going to have a podcast about television. Stop yelling. Stop, please.
Oh, Jake.
All right, so we're going to talk about 2 episodes next. Fuck! No! I already did that part. I'm so lost.
Ross Doctor.
All right,
If you liked what you heard and you'd like to hear more, you can subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. Shut up. I got it. You can subscribe on iTunes.net/podcasts. Start a Steer by Facebook. Start a Steer by search. Twitter, Tumblr, SSHB Podcast, website, sshbpodcast.com. Google Podcast, SoundCloud, 5 stars. Do it. Fuck! This has been Jake.
This has been Chris.
Jake is on.
You're putting me under a lot of pressure.
This is Abe.
They're squeezing my balls. Caitlin!
To the fine people at Carvel, we're normally a little calmer than this during the outro. Please sponsor us.
Eat a fucking cake!
That was right in my ear.
Kick us out!
Cake us out! This has been cake!
It's going to be in your ear again
This is
soon.
always cake!
Don't you dare
like the
take that
football.
out. My God.
Wow!
Oh my God. I'm fucking crying.